Hello, N4H&H here with the Yaesu FT-710 sitting atop the Yaesu FTdx10. Both very similar transceivers, as you know if you've been watching this series. So what I want to explore in this video is the subject of the digital notch filter. Now that's also known as an auto notch in other radios, other brands of radios. You know, different companies have different names for things. So digital notch filter, DNF, in a Yaesu radio is a type of auto notch. So if you have that turned on and the station decides to tune up where you're listening, you know, you'll hear that high-pitched tone, and the auto notch will leap into action and knock it down for you without you having to touch anything. So that, you know, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. And a weakness in the FTdx10 has been that the DNF introduced distortion into the received audio. Now, you may not notice it. You may think that that's just the way somebody sounds, and you might even think that the station is maybe overdriving, they're a little distorted, and the truth of the matter is you have your DNF enabled. So I do not normally use the DNF on the FTdx10. If I have a heterodyne to knock out, I use the manual notch method, and I've covered that in a video in the FTdx10 series showing how to use the passband display here to look for the spike of the heterodyne, and then when you turn on the notch, I'll just turn it on here in the FTdx10 because all you have to do is rotate a knob and it's on. So let me zoom in on that display. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, I'll just go up here. So you see that deep V there. Let me turn it off. Okay, that's manual notch. And you see that spike? See that sticking up there? Let me zoom in. You see that spike right there? Now when I turn on the notch, I will move that V right over it, okay? See, I showed that in a video recently for the FTdx10. And you can do the exact same thing with the FT-710. So now, I should also mention while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and hit the multi button down here so you can see the other displays. You'll notice on the FFT down there in the bottom right, that little area right here where it's blanked, where it's a little darker. Watch what happens when I turn off the manual notch. And you can see that white line going down there? That is the heterodyne. But up in the passband display, you can clearly see the heterodyne sticking out. And when you engage the notch, manual notch filter, and see it's right at 1580 hertz, you can move it, see, over that spike. All right? So just, you know, thought I'd show that to you regarding notch filters. That's what this video is about. Now that is manual notch, and that's what I use on the FTdx10 because I know that the DNF is going to introduce some distortion. So let's get back down to the radios. And let's analyze the digital notch filter. Let's compare between the two radios. So I have this heterodyne in my neighborhood. I guess you could say it's convenient, but it's really not. It's not coming from my house. It's coming from a neighbor. I don't know exactly where. And it slides up and down a little bit in frequency as the day goes on, but have not figured it out yet. But therefore, it's going to come in handy to show you this.
KN4 OPZ. Yeah, well, dropping out. I guess I'm going to need to check out here too.
See, it moved a little bit now. It's at 1600. I'm going to turn off manual notch, and I'm going to go into the function menu. DNF, lower left.
I'll try to check in with you again tomorrow. I'm glad there wasn't anything.
It subdues it, knocks it out about 85%. Maybe.
You need to take care of before you close on that house. It's all coming together, Billy. It won't be long.
But if you're listening closely to the receive audio, especially of a stronger signal, there'll be distortion in it.
Okay, Roger. Yeah, it's all coming together. Catch you later, Santa Cruz.
And notice that
Hello, Roger.
the digital notch filter's not completely tracking that.
OPZ, where'd you go, Roger?
Oh, I'm just sitting here listening there.
Yeah, the band changed a little bit. I normally got you louder than what I do.
Yeah, well, I heard all the other stations, Roger, the other gentlemen up there. I heard everybody. I just
We're going to need some stronger stations, and the band's not great today, but...
Yeah, I got a S5 on you, but I hear everything you're saying.
Now let's go up to the FT-710.
Yeah, well, everything goes nuts.
So you hear it?
Yeah,
Now,
that's
because
why I
there's
don't
no
get
roofing
on in
filter
the daytime anymore.
on the FT-710, in the FT-710, you see the displays are the same. Well, let me back out. The displays are the same, even the menus are very much the same, you know, just except for a couple of things. You got this AESS function here, but notice there's no DNF here, where there is here for the FTdx10, and that's because DNF was moved here to the display where roofing filter is. Let me zoom in. So you see R.FIL. So on the FTdx10, that's where you select your different roofing filters. The SDR has no roofing filter. So I guess Yaesu figured, well, what are we going to do with, what are we going to do with that? Where are we going to find a use for that position in the display? That looks a little bit blurry, I think, but anyway, it's right here. And I'm going to engage it. So they just put it at your fingertips.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I don't. That house is about 64 or 5 degrees. The colder it is, the better I sleep.
I think it's about equal. It's definitely no better than the FTdx10.
Yeah, I got a goose down.
So it's still about 85%. Well, it's 85% gone. About 15% of it's still in there. Okay, listen. He's a little bit weak. Band conditions aren't great today. But listen to his voice very closely. Do you hear that distortion?
We've had it ever since 6,000 over 6,000 years of herbal remedies works really well around the world. When people didn't start multiplying around the world with a bunch of diseases
DNF is off.
and over until the synthetic pharmaceuticals came aboard. That's why everybody gets sick. They're being poisoned.
I don't have any DNR on, so that's why you're hearing all that hiss. Bothers me. I'm so used to no hiss. But I wanted to do this without any coloration from digital noise reduction. The other station is not in my skip zone. So back to the 17. As far as receive sensitivity, it seems neck and neck.
Some of the clips I've seen in that Information Act, that Freedom of Information Act, has been released out of the archives. Now, goes way back. Tells you things that were invented that actually worked, that just pharmaceutical companies and officers shut it down because it worked.
I'm not hearing any appreciable distortion introduced with the DNF in the 710. That's an improvement over the FTdx10. But again, I don't use DNF anyway. The manual notch I find to be more effective.
Roger. Well, go back in the archives and see all that stuff. Archives are really a great place to do it. That's from our Congress saved artifacts. the archives, and that information has been loosened up thanks to the Freedom of Information Act. So they still ain't put it all out there, but they put a ton out there, and it's it's hours and hours and hours.
DNF off.
And a few clips of things they have as well. So it is entertaining,
DNF on.
but man, it boggles the mind that we have all this stuff and yet we can't use it.
Now, the distortion is much more noticeable to me when the signals are above S9. So let me point something out that I'm observing here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but with the FTdx10, these accent colors here are red, and with the FT-710, they are indeed orange. It doesn't matter, but just slight difference in the displays. Also, too, the whites here are brighter than the whites in the FT-710. Just a subtle thing I'll throw in here. But yeah, the band conditions aren't great today, but I hope that you were able to hear the distortion in the FTdx10. I mean, I'm not the only one that has said anything about that. Numerous people have. And yeah, it does seem that the NXP chip and programming in the FT-710 does a better job as far as auto notch is concerned. Now, so that comes down to what's important to you. The ability to trap a squash, a highly technical term there, a transient heterodyne, tone from somebody tuning up, or a better, more effective digital noise reduction. Because I showed in another video, the digital noise reduction is definitely superior in the FTdx10. So the trade-offs there. So I hope you found this video helpful and informative. I want to thank Ham Radio Outlet for providing the Yaesu FT-710 AESS for this series. And I want to shout out to the Patreon support team who make it possible for me to bring you these videos. Their monthly support offsets the cost of producing these videos and also justifies my time. So thank you so much to the Patreon support team. There are 3 levels of participation, and each level comes with some perks. If you'd like to join that team, go to www.patreon.com/N4HNH. That's patreon.com/N4HNH. And I'll mention some of the perks are they get early information. They'll get to see videos early. In the case of this FT-710, before I ever even produced the first video for the radio itself, they were given some advanced information about what was coming. And the reason was because I had some Patreon support members who were trying to decide on their first HF transceiver, and they were debating between the FT-710 and the FTdx10. So before the very first hands-on video with this radio was released, I went ahead and put out the info to the Patreon support team members. So some inside info there. We have good technical discussions as well. So if you'd like to participate in that team, again, go to www.patreon.com/N4HNH. And I should mention their support is what helps me stay away from sponsors. Sponsors would expect me to not tell you negative things about a radio, and they wouldn't be too happy if I were to compare their radio to another brand, things like that. So it helps me be unbiased. I like to be able to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly without someone telling me that I can't do that. So the Patreon team literally makes that possible. And if you would, please smash that thumbs up. Click the like button. That helps us out a lot with YouTube. And consider subscribing to the channel. If you do subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. And that way you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. You won't miss a video in the FT-710 series, or for that matter, any video. And don't forget, even if you have a different radio than the video that you might see listed on my channel, you still may be able to learn something, because many of the techniques that I teach, regardless of which radio I'm using at the time, can apply to other transceivers. So don't just get locked in on one particular playlist. Explore the other playlists here on the channel. And finally, if you would, please share a link to this video on social media, text message, email, or just phone a friend. All right, hey, thanks for watching in 73 from N4HNH.